Oh, that's cutting through. Yeah, just about 1/4 turn did it. Welcome back to Made by J&D. In my last video, which was the first I'd made after a couple of months, thought I was going to get back on the fire truck, but I'm still not done goofing around apparently. I've got this stack of wire, and this is only a small stack. I've got a bigger one over there. That's everything out of the motorhome and out of the fire truck. I used to have a wire stripper that I'd made myself, and I've got another video on it. A lot of you that may have watched it were just too kind to make a comment. That was never going to work. The stripper did work with effort. I was jealous of the people that had the wherewithal to buy the machines to strip wire. I ended up making that one because I really couldn't afford a couple of $100, or didn't want to spend a couple of $100 to get the cheaper wire strippers that were available. And they make a pretty good living. I think I had 17 pounds of brass, which paid, I'm probably going to get these numbers mixed up, but I think that paid, I'll put it up on the screen. I have receipts. I'll look to see what that was. Most scrap yards allow you to just bring in the wire as it is. It's got the insulation on it. You don't get near as much. But if I were to strip this, say I wound up with a bucket of it, well, this is probably 10 pounds already of just household wiring. This is something that came out of the motorhome. It's 115 volt. Well, I think it's rated to 600 volt, but solid core copper wire. And that came up with quite a bit. And I have some more of that in here, just little sections. This stranded copper, depending on where it's made and how much effort they took, they mold the insulation around this. When it's hot, it kind of flows in, and it's not near as easy to strip. So I was able to just run a knife along this and strip the insulation off. And it worked all right. This stuff, not so much. Well, what I bought here, I'm going to do a bit of an unpacking video. It's made in China. It's still one of the cheaper ones. It is motorized. And this is one of the ones that will do smaller wire. In fact, it's one of the very few that does something smaller than like 1/4 inch or something. And the reason I did that, we can find a wire here. Here's a really tiny wire. I still don't know if this machine will do this, but it's pretty small. Pair of gloves, a little shield, like some tools. Here's the machine itself. It's got a card here. Please remove the cardboard before work. Be cautious of the blade when taking products to avoid getting cut. I think it uses a sharp blade like I was using in the one I'd homemade, which was made to cut fabric. It's a little roller knife. So that's one of the things I've found in general on these machines is these knives get dull. You don't do them right. Got a little power cord here. This is meant to be screwed down. Well, I'm going to screw it to a piece of wood and then put it in my vise back there. And that'll just be something I can put in and take out just by tightening it up in the vise. For a change, let's read the instructions. Input voltage, 110 60 hertz, 35 watts. Wire gauge, 1.5 to 10 millimeter. 1.5. I think this is even smaller than 1.5. It's right on the verge. It's probably 1 mil wire. Still, we'll try it. It gives a description of what the various components are. It's got these accessories before operating the machine necessary to secure it to a workbench. And I will, but I'll put it in the vise. Before starting operation, ensure that the center line of the blade's cutting edge aligns with the center line of the groove, which is right down in here. I don't know how you change it. It looks like this screwdriver and a combination of the screwdriver and this wrench allow you to do some adjustments up and down with the shield. I don't see any way you can adjust that side to side though. Adjust the height of the blade in a manner that allows the blade to only scratch the insulation of the wire without damaging the wire. Remember, rotating the screw clockwise will move it downward, and rotating it the other way will move it up. It says there's 2 different places to put wire. There's 2 holes in the front. And so in here is different wire, different guide. So this is the smallest and the biggest, and this guide here is for wires in between that. So 4 different wire sizes in general. You pick the right hole based on wire gauge, but then they're also giving you, there's an adjustment here to move it up and down, or at least this one has an adjustment to move it up and down. And you do that to make sure that you're looking at the V-groove that's between the blade and the jaws that drive the wire. Right? Rotate the knob adjustment according to the number of the wire feeding hole. Rotating the knob increases speed, then the other way decreases speed. It will tell you voltage. I don't know what the deal is. It is recommended to turn the knob to the middle position with the screen displaying between 6 and 8 when in testing the incoming line in order to ensure the safety of the test. They don't really tell you when it's too fast and when it's too small. The diameter of the wire to be treated, including the outer skin, shall not be less than 1.5 millimeter. Let's just see how thick this is. That's 1.5 millimeter and the wire doesn't fit in it. So this smaller stuff is actually bigger than 1.5 millimeter. So that should strip. If the center of the blade is not the same line as the center of the rolling gear, it won't strip. And if the blade is dull, it won't strip. Then it's just a bunch of warnings, and that's it. That's your guide. Let's see what this looks like when I plug it in. "12 volts, 8 volts, 4 volts, off," and it clicks off. Right, well, let's get this bolted down to a piece of wood, and we'll see if we can strip wire. Well, this is my original wire stripper, at least the piece of wood that was bolted to. That's some decking planks. And I think I take these ribs off, and that'll be the perfect size to bolt it to. And I can put a thing on the back, and I can allow me to a piece of angle iron or something, and that'll allow me to put it in the vise. Now I'll take it over to the vise and do this other part. It'll just reach, my power cord here will just reach down underneath there. Okay, let's see how this works. This plate is fixed. The other plate, you can slide the plate up and down. This one you can't. Now this smaller hole goes straight into the start of those rollers. The bigger goes straight to the top, feeds in straight to the top. So, okay, this has got to be adjusted quite a ways down to make this work. I don't think that blade's down far enough yet, but I'm going to start this up. That worked. I guess I had it down too far because that worked really well. In fact, it cut the wires. I didn't think I had it down far enough. Okay, well, there you go. I'm thinking I'll just have to run this around a rod or something to get this wire more straight than it is. That straightens out the wire pretty good. Right, I just ran it around the vise handle and I got rid of the bumps. Let's see, try this now. I had it down way too far to start with. I was adjusting the blade upward, and that worked out all right. Still cut it down too much though. I'm shaving the wire. Okay, this time I'm going to have this right up. Let's see what happens. It's making a line across the top. Still not quite enough to cut through though. Get another quarter turn. Let's go to the top end of this so I get different cuts of different parts of the wire. Oh, that's cutting through. Yeah, just about 1/4 turn did it. Actually, the way this is pulling apart, it looks like the insulation was cut on the first one too, so I didn't need to make that second quarter turn adjustment. That's working all right. All right then. I can see that part of the problem using this is this wire in particular came out of the motorhome, and it's got this spray foam insulation stuck to it because it was, you know, they insulated the van after the wire was in place. So that might be an issue trying to go through this tiny guide. Not a lot of the wire is like this, but it's still going to be annoying for the ones that are. That's going to get it jammed up. I'll just try to run it through the top one and see what happens. Yeah, it won't work because it won't stay centered. There we go. Oh, I thought so. Maybe not. Certainly made a line. I think this is some of that wire it's been cooked a little bit, so it's kind of melted into the insulation, and it's not going to come off very easily. Plus the insulation itself is pretty brittle. It's cut through. Just can't get that off of there. There we go. So I was about to go to some heavier gauge wire. It's the biggest gauge that this cutter will take, the smallest gauge. Then you got this one, which is adjustable. You have to put it in there for one size and up there for another size. What they've allowed to do that is they gave you these little socket head cap screws and a little wrench. That's fine. That seemed kind of annoying. So I'll put those screws in there. I've got these little knobs, and these little studs will stay in place. I'll just put these little knobs on and off, and that will allow me to change these guides very much simpler. So that's one modification I'm going to make already. All right, let's see how we did here. That's the guide that came off. The guide I want to put on. That's right side up. Looks like I made that screw a little bit too short. Yeah, I did. Now you get the idea. Easy to change plates now. Yeah, okay, well, make that one a little bit longer. And glue them back in, but yeah, that'll work. My initial thoughts, I think it's an adequate machine. It seems to have done everything it said it was going to do. The instructions are certainly simple. There's not a lot to them, but they're well written. They're clear. If you're going to do this, though, do all one kind of wire first, and then adjust it for the next kind of wire, etc. So there's going to have to be some sorting to get it to work smoothly. But yeah, it's a good purchase. So I didn't really say it at the beginning, but this is a Firstem, F-R-S-T-E-M. Purports to be German, but the box is made in China. There's no markings at all about origin on this machine, not even on the book. The box, however, says made in China. So there you go. Thanks for tuning in. If you've liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, perhaps subscribe, and I'll see you next time.